But yeah,
Just-
look, now speaking
Yo.
of, you were saying Barcelona is not really convincing,
Yeah.
or whatever. I think, like, speaking of teams that are not convincing, certain people are saying that Liverpool is not convincing, and I'm like,
Comment on Barcelona. Let me just say about Liverpool.
Can I say
And that was
before,
fine.
you know? And I'm like, as well,
If I have one more drink, I'm gonna end up. No. Sorry.
And I'm like, I don't know about that, you know, because like I think like people have put their standards according to Man City and playing video games a lot, that they are very historical. Because I feel like now, I was also reading like a few comments and whatever. I think like, as you know the term, you know, like they play like champions. It's what champions needed to do. You know, just like win. It doesn't matter. You understand? And I feel like, what do you mean by it's not convincing, dog? Because at the end of the day, they got the result. They needed to do what the job. Because now, if you're going to play, remember 2016, 17, rock and roll football, when you had the Fab Four. The Fab Four was there. It was fabulous, very entertaining. But certain games, you had a lot of injuries. You were conceding a lot, you know, because it was entertaining. The results were convincing. You were like, yeah, Liverpool are gonna smash these guys, whatever. But there was lack of discipline and a lot of other things that weren't fixed in there. So I'm like, I don't agree. Do you agree with that statement that that Liverpool are not convincing or Liverpool are convincing? Do you understand? Because for me, I wouldn't agree with that statement, because I'm gonna if I compare in the Premier League the teams that have won, yeah, for the past 2 seasons, City, there were times where like, okay, yeah, you know what, like, yeah, they're convincing, they wanna win. But then there's also results where they're very shaky, not convincing, you know, and then they're getting the results at the end of the day. But then besides the City past 2 seasons, dog, it was happening in the Premier League where teams were not convincing but getting the results. Understand what I'm saying? Do you agree with that statement? That's my
Wait,
question.
anybody else want to weigh in before I?
Yeah, we in somewhere.
Yes, I would like to weigh in. I feel like when you hype, you know, you have to be aware of the effects of the hype, specifically the counter hype, right? So I feel like people hype Liverpool, right? Do we agree? I don't care if we agree, I'm saying it. People hype Liverpool, right? And then they get unhyped when they do bad things. I don't think that it's a good or bad thing or accurate, inaccurate thing. I think that it's just a natural cycle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say Liverpool is ass because I want them to be ass. So my immediate, I'm gonna jump to, they're not as good as you say that they are, you know? And because I'm doing that, you're gonna jump and be like, no, I understand, but they are good. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like it's just because we in general, you know, aside from the football, we live in a very black or white world, you know? And sometimes you have to just...
Be clear.
Exactly. That's what I have to say.
I don't know what that last bit meant.
You know, it's a spectrum. And you have to be somewhere in the gray of the spectrum. Not on the black, not on the white.
Somewhere in the K of the spectrum.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
I was just gonna say, I feel like going into every game, I'm convinced Liverpool are going to get a result,
Yeah.
and they do. So I don't understand the argument. Is it?
No, but have you heard?
No, I've heard. I'm
Yeah,
just saying, yeah. I don't know where the criticism
Well,
comes from.
yeah.
Is it because people like if Liverpool doesn't score 6 goals, then they're
That's-
not convincing?
I think it's like scraping through results.
I don't see Liverpool scrape through results either. I see Liverpool win, and
Scrape
never
through
look
Sheffield,
like. No, Sheffield, yeah, Sheffield. Look,
So
yeah.
I'm just saying, but and as you said as well, which I don't quite understand the point, but like City, even in the last 2 seasons, even with the like 7-2 victories and all those that are happening like 4-0 every week, they had a few unconvincing results. So I think that it's not them as a team are unconvincing. It's there's a few results in there that are unconvincing. It's like the one against Sheffield, Liverpool barely got through that one. So that's an unconvincing result. It's not okay, they went out and were much better than Sheffield like they should be, because we're expecting them to do that. And then against United in the first half, it wasn't convincing. They came out, it was a little weird. They were like a little scared. It was like, but then they still got a result out of that, but still not the one they wanted. So it's not that as a whole they're unconvincing. It's just there's unconvincing moments.
Can I say this also? Based off that, right? What I will say is this. Yes, you may be convincing, then be unconvincing, then be convincing. But isn't the whole point of being convincing to not be unconvincing?
I think I need to just understand what we mean when you say convincing. Because I'm
and what is the criteria for convincing?
Yeah.
For example,
Yeah.
you understand?
Yeah.
And where's the standard? What's the standard?
Well, it depends what you want as a fan, I guess. I mean, some people may want possession, other people may want goals, you know. So I think it depends on what you as the actual fan wants and how you feel, like how you view the game. So I don't think you can judge that based off an entire group. It's all like what you as an individual looks at.
Okay, here, how would we? What are you guys' opinions on how would you guys judge that?
For me, it's just how comfortable the team is. I mean, for example, if we go back to Mourinho's Chelsea days, I mean, you'd win games 1-0, but you'd still be comfortable.
Every time.
You know, score a goal and then you bring on Michael Essien and it's game over, dude.
Yeah.
But you'd still be comfortable at the end of the day. So for me, that's what gives or makes me feel like the win was convincing. It's just being comfortable the whole game.
Yeah, when you know that we scored a goal, job is done, the other team won't get a chance because our team is strong.
Yeah.
They don't look shaky. They were just showing the defensive work that we can do.
For you, Brad, this is the order.
Oh, okay, this order. I think like sometimes it depends, because for example, like as he's saying, sometimes you get a goal, show your defensive work, especially according to the manager. You understand? It's like you get that one goal, be solid, Yes, the other team might get chances or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's like okay, the other team might try and make chances, but you're still stopping them from making those chances, or score a goal and not create a lot of chances, just pass around the
Are you
ball.
speaking about clean sheet
I'm saying
specifically?
a win.
A win.
Yeah.
Okay. So you could concede and still be in control times.
Yeah.
Yeah. You understand?
Okay. So can I ask, now that we're going around, can I start there and then say, do you feel based on your criteria, Liverpool convincing or not?
Against?
Just
In general.
the
'Cause
season.
that's
I
what
think
you say.
Liverpool have been very convincing.
I agree.
I mean, yeah, they just beat Genk, 4-1.
Yeah.
And shout out to Oxlade-Chamberlain's goal.
The other thing, look, I think, for example, other people are basing convincing off of today you didn't create as many opportunities or whatever. Therefore, you're boring. You're not supposed to be title contenders or whatever. And sometimes, players in the Premier League or players in general, we're not always gonna be there's gonna be days where but at the end of the day they got the results, which is really important, because I mean, if you look at that Fab 4, it's very tricky, dog. It will cost you a lot.
Yeah, I agree. For me, right, I don't think like you guys say, I don't think convincing is perfect, but I will say that from what I've watched, like you say, you go in confident and you're like, yo, Liverpool are going to do this, Liverpool are going to do that, right? Last season and this season, right? And I don't know if you feel the same, or I don't know if anybody else does. I still feel like Liverpool won't win the title. You get what I'm saying? I don't, I might say it in a joke and, you guys are playing well, whatever, but okay, yeah.
I was going to ask, because now you're speaking about the title.
Yeah.
The convincing part, was it about winning games or the title?
Martinelli.
Nice.
You heard it here first. Martinelli scored.
That's his third goal in the Europa League, right? And how many starts? 3 starts?
I think so. 2? Is it not more?
Shout out, dude. In the Europa League.
Oh, the Europa League goal, my
Europa
bad.
League, yeah, shout out Martinelli.
Yeah, what I was gonna say about the whole convincing
Recruitment
check,
process,
right? It's like, dog, Spurs. Spurs are convincing sometimes. They'll finish a game and they'll win and they'll do, but you still have that thing where you're like, it's Spurs. You feel me? That's how I kind of feel about you guys. And yes, I'm biased. Strongly, bro.
I'm shocked.
What? That I
We're
feel
Spurs to you.
Oh no! You're not Spurs. I was just making the
why
comparison.
do you feel that way?
Okay, it's like this.
Kieran Tierney assist.
You don't insist.
It's like this, right? We watched the game together, Liverpool United, right? Not once did I say, yeah, you guys are going to beat me. And then I spoke the truth and I said, I feel like
You always feel like
You also
that.
said you were
Oh,
winning
wait.
4-0.
Away. That's a joke. You have to understand. Read between the lines, buddy. Read between the lines. What I'm saying is, honestly, when I look at the thing, right, I feel like, yeah, Liverpool are good sometimes. But when I look at a game like Sheffield or, you know, a game against us, that's not convincing to me. You know, regardless of everything else, how good you guys are and whatever happens, I still see chinks in the armor. You know what I'm saying? There are still places where I'm like, you know, you can't.
That's true. That's true.
You know, so that's all that I want to say. I don't think that Liverpool have been convincing, and I am prepared to die on this little molehill.
But I just say,
Can I? I'm trying to say that there is chinks in the armor.
Yeah.
The point of them being convincing is for them to, even if they get cut or whatever, if we're gonna use those metaphors or whatever, they're still going to go to the war, and ciao, they got the points.
I just want to say, do you realize that the whole of this year and the whole of
They're
last year,
unbeaten.
Liverpool have lost one league game.
Nice.
No. Just hear me.
Oh,
Just hear me
wait,
out.
I'm sorry.
Let me finish. Let me say, no team is perfect, right? No team is perfect. Sheffield United. I want to see how you do. Because Arsenal played them earlier, and I told her right before the game, like, you guys are going to lose this game.
And they tackled me.
And they did. That team is really, really difficult to break down and play against in general. It feels like they're playing with 15 players somehow. That team is true. Yo, Wilder is not playing games.
Chelsea also bottled a 2-0 lead at home today. So.
Yeah, those guys are not an easy opponent. So when you bring those guys up, to me, it's almost as though you're trying to say if they couldn't beat Sheffield United, then they're not that great. Therefore, they're not convincing. But then, is Manchester City convincing? Is there no convincing team in the Premier League?
That's what I was saying. I don't think there is. I don't see.
So no one is
anybody.
convincing.
No, nobody.
So the
is
title
to
race
me.
is wide open according to Valentino.
No. I didn't say title race. I just said not
No, I'm
convincing.
just saying.
Oh, wait.
If everybody's unconvincing, then everybody should stand a chance. Yeah. Because you're not convinced that anybody.
If
can.
everybody's unconvincing to a certain level, and your level of unconvincing is less than mine, you get what I'm
Is
saying?
unconvincing perfect to you? Is
No.
convincing 100%, and then if you don't hit that, you're not.
No, when you were saying that you were scraping games, when you this unbeaten run that you were on, right? There were games last season where you were just scraping by. Agree or disagree?
Sure.
Scraping by.
According to them, scraping
Yeah,
is-
sure.
yeah,
Scraping by.
sure.
You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm not saying that was bad, right? And yeah, you were unbeaten, and that's a good thing to look back on and say I was unbeaten. But for a lot of those games, it was touch and go. Touch and go is not. What is the word?
Convincing.
Convincing. I was gonna say
Hey, but
conspiracy.
can I tell you, nah? Faking
Yeah.
time was a thing, nah?
Yeah.
Just know.
Yeah. So don't compare now because
just a
I
thing.
didn't
It was
say
very
I didn't say that
fantastic.
I
But
didn't
now
say
it's
that they
straight.
were convincing either. I didn't say that they were convincing either.
So there's never been a convincing team.
As time,
Bruh,
Who was convincing? Which Premier League team did you know that was convincing?
what did I say when I started? I said that these things move in cycles, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna feel convinced by your team because then.
And Arsenal's behind.
Arsenal are home, by the way.
Oh yes. I was saying you're gonna feel convinced, right? And there are people who are gonna be unconvinced, and that's okay.
No, I know. I'm just
You
trying
know
to
what I'm
understand
saying?
from your criteria. It doesn't
Yeah.
sound like you have a team that you consider to be convincing.
Because I'm not looking at it as a convincing, unconvincing chat. I'm just looking at it from a place of, oh, this is a team and it's gonna be like this, right? And some people are gonna feel that it is, and some people are gonna feel that it's not. And some matches are gonna be, and some matches aren't, and some tournaments are gonna be, and some tournaments aren't. But to be convincing, there should be no room for being unconvincing. That's what I said.
I don't know if I agree with that.
That's
Just
cool.
because we say De Bruyne is a great passer of a football doesn't mean he doesn't play some passes off. Like, you know, like.
Yeah, but then you still say that was a bad pass.
Yeah.
So
It
then
doesn't
that's
mean-
what you know. That's exactly. Let me hear hear out my point. Because if De Bruyne does a bad pass, you don't go, oh, that was a good pass.
No.
Because if you lose or if you do
Mhm.
something that is
Mhm.
unconvincing, it was still unconvincing.
So do you get what my point is? I'm saying,
Yeah.
you play bad passes, but does that mean you're no longer a good passer? Because he's failing to say these guys are convincing because they have unconvincing moments. So I'm
Yeah.
saying, are we saying there is no good passer because they have bad passes?
No.
There is no convincing team because they have unconvincing moments.
No.
then who's a convincing team?
I'm not defining anybody as convincing because
I'm
I told
asking you to.
There is nothing from. I can't, dog. I can't. There is no convincing because I told you. I just explained, right? It's like, how can I explain this? Okay.
It's
Dog.
consistency.
Convincing is consistency.
Yeah.
But they've been consistent.
They have been consistent.
But it doesn't count.
Well, they've been consistently getting results, but just in different manners.
Exactly.
I think
So in a way, as a team, Liverpool are very convincing. They're unbeaten so far, 8 wins and then a draw. That's like title form there. It's there. That's convincing. They're on their way to a convincing title, with unconvincing moments.
It's like
Because it's football. You can't go through a whole season without unconvincing moments.
Exactly. And I'm not trying to shit on you guys. You know, I know I'm not saying convincing is perfection because you can't be perfect, right? I get that. But it's like, bro, if I have this thing and this is water, right? The fact that I threw a drop of alcohol in there makes it no longer water. You feel me?
so. There's no convincing team because
No.
they have.
You have convincing moments.
So you can't.
Other person.
You have
Getting
convincing
flashbacks
moments,
now.
but you aren't convincing. You get what I'm saying? For me personally, and that may be a wrong criteria or whatever. But I don't think that it's gonna change anytime soon.
Yeah,
Oh wait,
I think it's wrong criteria. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
it's good that you think so.
What
I
do
don't
you
care.
think? What do you
Wait. We're moving on.
Yeah.
We are moving on.